Do not work for food that perishes, but for the food that endures for eternal life. What's so great about our Catholic faith is that when we look at like a person like St. Thomas, he will say that all of reality is not static. So when you look at the entire cosmos and all of being, it's not just static, it's just not there. He says that it's dynamic, that being is dynamic, it's moving, it's pulsating with existence. It's seeking to be enriched. And I think contemporary physics would also say that when they study molecules, there's just this dynamism in being in the universe. And this entire universe was created out of love. And every being seeks to be in communion with other beings. There's a lack of something, there's a poverty in each being that needs other beings to bring forth its fullness, its communion, its to put to rest that dynamism that's in us. And so you could say that really the Trinity is reflected in the cosmos, because the essence of the Trinity is relationship and communion of persons. And when we look at our own personhood in our own hearts, there's this dynamism for communion, this dynamism to be known, to know and be known, and to love and be loved, and especially love. It's like our being cries out to communicate itself to others and to be received by others. So in today's gospel, the Lord mentions to us that we shouldn't work for food that perishes, but for food that endures for eternal life. And what is that food? The communion of persons. The communion with the persons of the Blessed Trinity. The communion with persons with each other. Because that's what really makes life meaningful and significant and worthy, is when we love. When we love each other in relationship, that's what satisfies life. That's what gives us momentum to be. Not just pure materiality, that getting food and money and job, and that doesn't satisfy us. The money and job and food has a means, which is the communion with persons, this dynamism to be in communion, to be in love. And so how do we grow in this seeking to find the food that lasts for eternal life? I think if we contemplate God seeking communion with us, that He works for us, He labors for us. Such like when I woke up this morning, I felt my heart beating, and that's the Lord. He's laboring in love for me. He's making my heart beat. His act of love is sustaining the universe. The Lord started the universe out of love, but He also sustains it out of love. That nothing that we experience today is outside of His providence. And everything that we experience, our life, everything, is His communion towards us. His sustaining life in us. Because without God, nothing can be. Nothing can continue. So if we contemplate His loving laboring for us, like a loving Father who labors day and night out of love for us, I think in that will ignite us to want to love Him back in communion with Him and do everything out of love for Him, whether that's preparing dinner for the kids or taking care of my elderly spouse or being kind to one of my classmates who annoys me. That can be a form that we're doing it out of love for God, for His love for us. So let's ask for that grace that we may work for food that endures for eternal life in the Eucharist today.